Hello, 12th Street Baptist Church. My name is Vladimir, and I am a Shoebox recipient from Kiev, Ukraine. I received one of these beautiful and colorful shoeboxes from Samaritan's Purse, Operation Christmas Child, when I was only 9 years old. And what a blessing this gift was, not only for myself, but also for the whole family. And for me, it was extra special because this was my first Christmas gift ever. And the gospel came with it. But it wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the wonderful, hardworking people like you. And speaking of wonderful, hardworking people, I hear that you've been collecting shoeboxes and packing shoeboxes for the last 25 years. Who knows? Maybe my shoebox came from your church. And I also heard that last year you collected a total of 106 shoeboxes. If you think about it, that's 106 gospel opportunities that you've been a part of. Let me tell you, your hard work does not go unnoticed. And so today I would just like to share my testimony with you in hopes that perhaps it would encourage you to continue doing all the good that you've already been doing. So I come from a family of 9 children. My father was an underground pastor in Kiev, Ukraine. My father risked his life preaching the gospel on the streets of Kiev at the time when it wasn't popular or allowed. And because my father was a believer living in a communist country, he was hindered from advancing in our society. So my father had to settle for low paying jobs. And every time he was captured and written up, it greatly affected his pay even more. So it got to the point to where we had to take turns to go outside to play because we didn't have enough shoes for everybody. So I would take my shoes, I would put them on, I'd go outside and play with my friends, and then I'd come back and take them off and give it to the next person in line. And the shoes is not the only thing we had to share. We also had to share our toothbrushes. So I'd take my toothbrush, I would brush my teeth, and when I'm finished, I would give it to my mom, and my mom would wash it with hot water and soap, and then she would pass it on to the next person in line. And we didn't have access to a lot of toys, especially new toys, but it didn't stop us from being creative. We would go outside, we'd find Coca-Cola caps, and we would make yo-yos out of Coca-Cola caps. And we'd also play with our shoes, pretending they were cars. And as for food, we pretty much grew up on rice and potatoes, which I often jokingly say that we were vegetarians before it was even cool. And we grew up in a tiny 3-bedroom apartment with barely any heating and cooling. We didn't have a washer and a dryer, so my mom, she had to do all the laundry by hand. And because of the amount of laundry that my mom had to do, her skin would often crack and bleed. And mom, she would stay up all night and she would make socks and underwear for us out of old clothes or donated material. So we grew up very poor on the inside of the apartment walls, heavily persecuted on the outside. But in the middle of all that, we were invited to come to a Christmas celebration. And this was in the middle of cold Ukrainian winter. We had to hop on the bus and then on the tram just to get to this place. And when we pulled up to this place, I was walking in at the same time with a girl that I recognized from my class. And I was very surprised to see this girl there because I knew for a fact that this girl was not a believer. And for some reason, I assumed that this event was only for Christians. But to my surprise, this place was filled with all kinds of people from all walks of life. And when we walked into this place, it's like we transitioned from this black and white Ukrainian winter to a colorful room of joy and laughter. There was so much happy music, beautiful, welcoming smiles. But most importantly, they presented the gospel to us in so many different and unique ways through singing, dancing, cartoons, movies, animations, flannel boards. It's like the gospel came alive. And then at the very end, they brought out these beautiful and colorful shoeboxes. And when I opened my shoebox, it's like everything that I imagined playing with as a child. It's like it manifested in real life. I had my own yo-yo. I didn't have to make yo-yos out of Coca-Cola caps anymore. I had my own Hot Wheel cars. I didn't have to play with my shoes pretending they were cars anymore. I had my own toothbrush. I didn't have to share a toothbrush with anybody. And my toothbrush was like a rock star toothbrush. It was like the one to rule them all. I had so much color, so much personality, and no one in my neighborhood had anything similar to it. And I also had this dental floss that I thought was candy, but most importantly, I felt loved. And I always say that God is love. When you show love to people, you show God to people. When people experience love, they experience God. And once you experience that God's unconditional love, you will not walk away unchanged. And in our culture, we need that kind of love because in our culture, when somebody gives you a gift, they always expect something in return. It's always transactional. But here's a gift that was given to me with no strings attached, unconditionally. And that's what you get to be a part of, 12th Street Baptist Church, when you pack a shoebox with Samaritan's Purse, Operation Christmas Child. And I'm just so honored and blessed to serve alongside of you. May God bless you all. Bye-bye.